Hey guys, we're going to be going back to the Dark Slagworm for another perfect score run. Someone asked me why I didn't use Esther on the Slagworm because she's, really good for the fight. It's absolutely true. Esther is phenomenal for the Slagworm. Usually for like brand new premium units, I try to not use them very often because it's a brand new premium unit. Unless, of course, I have to. Like Esther, for example, will absolutely be featured on my final boss clear when I do it next week because she's very, very powerful. But usually for the newer premium units, if it's possible to do like a guide video without using that premium unit, I will choose to do that because, I'll use non-premiums because they're cheaper, easier to get. On the other hand, for rank 1 stuff, rank 1 Clash of Wills, rank 1 Dark Visions videos, the gloves are off, I'll use whatever I can. But for guide videos, I usually try to not to. But it was asked that I show Esther, so let's do Esther with an incredibly budget run other than Esther herself. So no STMRs, cheap gear, etc. So we're passive provoking with Sylvie at the moment. We're going to use Esther to charge herself up. We're going to do Calm Before the Storm. We're going to do True Storm Brand and Energizing Bunny. We're going to go to the base form with Cacteria. We start her in the shift with the auto limit stuff, and then we go to the base also wearing the auto limit stuff because that gives her double dipping on LB fill. And we're just going to do Cactus Break on, not Cactus Break, my bad. We're going to do Defense Break, Armor Breaking Needles. We're going to do Barbed Boost on Rain, and we're going to do, that's pretty much it. That's all we really need. Yeah, so we're just going to, literally whatever. Rain can shift this turn. It doesn't really matter what turn you shift. Start in the shift, whatever. I should have started in the shift form. No, actually start him in the base form so his LB autofills. That's right, it doesn't autofill if you start in the shift form. I knew there was a reason I did that. Yuri is going to do Secret Pesticide for an insect killer. Zahn is going to double up. We're going to critical on Yuri and then just spread those buffs with Projected Mirror. And Sylvie will do triple cast. We'll do Bolt Egg to imbue the party with Thunder. We're going to do all eggs in one basket on Rain to give him a big Thunder Amplify because Sylvie does her own. And we'll just do, really nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. She's just our Thunder Imbue and Amplify. Okay. So the only thing on turn 1 is a single target physical attack, which Sylvie is provoking. There you go. So now we're going to have Cacteria do her base form LB for a bigger Fist in Peril. Because we're using budget, well, I'll show you why I'm using Fist in Peril in just a second. And now we're going to kill. So we're going to shift form LB of Rain and base form LB of Esther. Yuri will just support chain with Blue Wave. Zahn will triple Bolting Strike. And this is to give us that 100 count chain score. And that's pretty much it. And we just chained this up. And that should be a 20.1 billion. Apparently I don't have CGLBs turned off, but that's okay. Whatever. Okay. So 20.1 LB. Or 20.1 billion. Didn't overkill by a ton. We did get there, but when you see the gear, you'll understand. Like I went hardcore budget on this one, other than the fact that we are using Esther herself. Now Esther basically did all that. Rain did almost nothing. He could have literally been just like a support unit with a bigger buff or something, and using the chain and materia. But whatever. So perfect score. There we go. I'll show you the party we use. So Sylvie is just passive provoke evasion. Trying to keep the gear cheap as I can. So there we go. Just passive provoke evasion. All she's really here for, honestly, is to imbue Rain with Thunder and amplify Rain for Thunder. So if you're not using Rain or using like another unit or something, Sylvie's not important. Whatever. Yuri is just here for insect killer buff. She's a 3-star unit, and she has not that one. She has a 100% self-only insect killer, which Zahn can steal. Neovision's Lastwell is better. If you've got Neovision's Eurisha, she can do an AoE insect killer, and then you don't even need Zon. But you know, in the interest of keeping it super budget, a 3-star unit also can do 100% buffed, only to herself though. And then Blue Wave just a support chain. Zon is to support chain and steal that insect killer buff. So if you're using like Eurisha, you don't need either Zon or Yuri. You can replace both of them. Cacteria is for Fist and Peril. So we started her in the shift form with some auto LB, and the base forms from auto LB with auto LB per turn. That way we can get the LB ready to go on turn 2. You can also go longer. You don't have to do a turn 2 clear if you don't want to. And you can fill her LB gauge longer duration. The big thing she brings is the 89% defense break. So she's the best permanently available non-investment defense breaker. So obviously Venera, Laura, and Hawkeye are all better at 90%, but they're all limited time. And then there's Locke, who has a 90%, but he takes like an arm and a leg to invest in. So if you don't have any of those options, the best permanent cheap option is Cacteria. And she also did a 150 Fist in Peril, which we're using, and you'll see in about 2 seconds. So there we go. And then Esther is using a Fist build. Now, obviously, Esther is definitely preferable for greatswords. The problem is, right now, the variance patch is not active at the time of this video, which means greatswords are worse than Fist. Now, clearly, Esther's personal greatsword would be way better because it gives her 500 flat attack power. But I was trying to keep it budget, and your Esther may only be EX0 or EX1, and you don't want to STMR mogul that STMR ahead of schedule. So in case you didn't have the STMR, I went with a Fist build to keep it more budget. If you do have the STMR, toss that on her, and the 500 flat attack will make up for the fact that it has worse variance. It should at least. I didn't actually math it out. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. In any case, this is what we used. You can try both ways. If you're a little bit short on damage, you can try the STMR. Maybe it's better. I don't know. Anyway, here's the gear we used. No STMRs. Kept it all real cheap. Insect killer, LB damage, cheap old card, 295 LB and 300 insect. So again, we're using Bug Killer Plus and Insect Buster. These are both permanent sources. Actually, isn't Bug Killer Plus from Chamber of Arms? I guess technically speaking, it's not currently permanent, but hopefully you already have it. Or maybe it's from another trial. I don't know where it's from. And then Neovision's Rain didn't use the base form. Shift form, you saw the damage breakdown. Absolute trash tier. But he did technically push us over the edge. My budget geared Esther only did 19. He did 2, so that he was important, technically speaking. So here's the gear we use. Super budget crap. 275 LB and 175 insect. Now, obviously, if I loaded him down with STMRs, he'd do a lot better, but that would defeat the purpose of a budget run. So, basically the whole front row, Sylvie, Yuri, and Zon could all be replaced with like Neovision's Eurisha, and that would open up 2 party slots for whatever you need. Or you could also wait 4 days or 3 days and do this boss on Thursday after the variance patch. And then Esther and Rain will do like 20% more damage just from the new variants. So there it is. People asked me, or one person asked me to do an Esther clear on the Slagworm. So there it is. Esther is very powerful, and the reason I don't use Esther or other premiums as much is, again, like I said, they're very expensive and they're less accessible. So when it's possible to do a guide without using a premium, that's what I'll usually go with. It's not because I don't like Esther. I've seen people saying, like, I don't like Esther because I don't use her that much. It's not the case. She's too expensive to use. That's the problem. Anyhow, Esther will absolutely be on the team for the final day on Thursday. So see you guys then.